Achillas, who's the Head of Business Development at Wärtsilä.
Good afternoon from my side as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you TMS for the kind invitation to present. It's an honor and a pleasure being here to talk to you about fitness. And I'm not talking about our physical fitness, which is also very important, but about fitness for fleets and fleets being fit for the future that is coming. And at Wärtsilä, decarbonization is at the very core of our strategy. And this led also to an investment in resources and also a significant part of our R&D budget to two-stroke decarbonization solutions. Wärtsilä Services, we are a service organization dealing with existing engines. So we saw the need to develop these retrofit solutions to improve the efficiency of existing engines and also convert them to be able to run on the sustainable fuels that we all talk about. So we've tried to plot here our portfolio of solutions in terms of investment level versus decarbonization potential. It's not an easy task or a very accurate one, but it gives you let's say a perspective on it. And you'll see that it's kind of almost linear. You know, the more we invest on a retrofit, the more benefit we get out of a decarbonization potential solution. And the dark bubbles are our efficiency upgrades, so solutions to improve the efficiency of the engine, which means consuming less fuel. And with the main engine being on average responsible for 90% of the vessel's emissions, I think it's prudent to look at efficiency. As it is also prudent to look for good candidate vessels that would be suitable for a fuel conversion. And there, when we go to the orange bubbles, there we're looking at the different fuels that we're developing, so LNG, methanol, and ammonia as fuel conversion options. And there we're talking, of course, for a vessel conversion, not only an engine conversion, but a conversion that goes beyond the engine itself, and it involves tanks and fuel supply systems, safety systems, and vessel modifications. Now, the newer kid on the block here is a solution we call Wärtsilä part load optimization, the WPLO there, which is we saw the need, customers were coming to us after applying, for example, an EPL, engine power limitation, and they were in a situation where the vessel was slowing down too much, so to speeds that were not competitive for its market, and they came to us for a solution. So we started from some chemical tankers as a first project, and we have a paper about it at the end of the month released, and there we managed to increase the speed of the vessel by 2 knots while EPL was applied, which actually saved the vessel commercially. And then, of course, the customer applied it in, let's say, 7 more vessels in their fleet. And then one noteworthy solution is also the fit for power solution, which is not applicable, unfortunately, for tankers. But it's an exercise in how much you can retrofit an engine. Because what we're doing is actually we're taking these old Artiflex 96 bore engines in container ships that were designed for sailing at 30 knots, and we're reducing this bore size to 72. So we are actually changing the whole upper part of the engine above the block, which is intensive work. But by this, we can improve the efficiency up to 50%. Of 15% of the engine, which is amazing for a derating. What is, of course, the engine efficiency upgrades are the lower hanging fruit, if you will. So it is something that we can apply today and improve already the CII of a vessel or its carbon emissions. But they should also be considered, in my humble opinion, when we're considering fuel conversions, because all the fuels we're talking about, it's clear that they're going to be more expensive, and they're also going to be taking more space on the vessel because of their volumetric capacity. And so it's again prudent, I think, to look at efficiency as well. The more of this fuel we can save, the better. What is very relevant, of course, for tankers, and I would like to focus here, is fuel conversions, and I will go more into this platform of ours, which we call Fit for Fuels. As I mentioned, it's LNG, methanol, and ammonia. That's what we have in our roadmap. And they will be commercially available, meaning that the technology will be available for on-vessel conversions, LNG and methanol in 2024, and ammonia in 2025. The key thing about this technology is a new combustion concept which we developed, which is if you will, a hybrid combustion process between the non-auto and the diesel, or the premixed and diffusive combustion, and allows us to adapt let's say, to always find the sweet spot between fuel consumption, emissions, and fuel slip along the engine's power curve, which of course eliminates fuel slip for these fuels, which is important for all of them. And another important part is of the technology is that we, being a retrofit optimized solution, we took all the fuel preparation process and incorporated them on the on-engine conversion, which means that we have a very low requirement from the fuel supply system in terms of let's say, pressure, and which means also that the fuel supply system is simpler, it's easier to retrofit, and it has, of course, a lower capex and opex. And us being a service organization, as I mentioned earlier, we have streamlined the retrofit process, and we are confident we can convert a 12-cylinder engine in 3 weeks. And we have some modularity in the design, which I will talk about. Now I get a bit technical, not too much, hopefully. So this would be a typical LNG installation where you have a fuel preparation room, somewhere with all the preparation processes. And this is fine, of course, for new build vessels where you can plan everything and design everything according to the needs. But for retrofits, we saw it as a potential barrier. So we went with a concept, as I mentioned, which incorporates all these fuel preparation processes on the engine, and leaves nothing between the tank and the two-stroke engine apart from piping and valves. And this means that we're supplying cryogenic LNG from the tank directly to the engine, and then, of course, processing the LNG on the engine. We're also using, for this purpose, a 3-layer flexible stainless steel pipe, which from one side is a clever way of laying out piping as a retrofit because of its flexibility. And on the other hand, it works very well for this concept because it combines the supply of cryogenic LNG to the engine, the return of cryogenic LNG to the tank, and the vacuum insulation that goes on the outer layer. And this, let's say, counterflow of cryogenic LNG also works wonders, because we effectively want to heat up the LNG going to the engine and cool down as much as possible the cryogenic LNG going back to the tank, so as not to increase boil-off. And then if we zoom into what's happening on the engine, and where I said that we incorporated all the fuel preparation processes, there we have, of course, we need to build up the pressure, so we need a pressure boosting stage. And this we do with existing energy from the engine, so excess energy from the engine servo oil system. So we take this 10 bar that is coming from the supply system, and we pump them up to over 100. And then the next stage is, of course, the evaporating the LNG into gas that we can inject. And to do that, we have a heat exchanger, which is running on engine jacket cooling water, again, energy from the engine. We do our utmost to not bring external power to these systems and not burden the existing plant further. And then we have a pressure accumulator, which then regulates the pressure to the injectors, and then we inject in a gaseous state at still sub-zero temperatures the gas, and use the engine's original injectors as a pilot. For methanol, similar concept, easier installation in terms of the tank side at least, because methanol is an easier fuel to store. It's not cryogenic, you can store it at ambient temperatures and pressures, and you can even convert existing storage on board. But exactly the same concept, taking it directly to the engine and then boosting the pressure. Here we will need the 600 bar because we're talking about purely diffusive combustion. And there, in some cases, on the large bore engines on the high power level, we may need external power for that. The scope of the conversion is also rather simple. We don't touch anything else on the engine apart from the cylinder cover, and the only reason we are exchanging the cylinder cover is to accommodate the additional injectors, so we need 2 additional holes at the cylinder cover for the injectors. And other than that, we don't alter the engine's pressure ratio, the compression ratio, or efficiency. So the diesel engine, as we knew it, is still there, and it's operating without any restriction. And we're only adding the capability to burn the additional fuel. And all the other systems that you see there are add-ons. So we are effectively adding one more injection system on the engine with its own injection control system, which communicates with the engine's original one, giving the possibility to burn this additional fuel. And there's also a short animation there to show exactly what I was saying. So it's about removing the original cover, replacing it with our own design, which has 2 extra holes for injectors. And then everything else is an add-on, the fuel injectors, the pressure accumulator you saw in the diagram. If we have LNG, we will need the gas expander. If not, we will not have a gas expander. And then all the fuel piping and the fuel booster pumps are sitting in an enclosure, which is continuously ventilated and monitored to also comply with the IGF code. And in terms of timeline, where we are in our development, we have already completed LNG testing last year, and we did a repeat test early this year. We're now preparing the engine to start on methanol by the end of our test engine in Trieste to start on methanol by the end of the year, and we plan to finish testing within the first half of next year. Then at the end of next year, we will have an LNG technology demonstrator with MSC. Also, Bureau Veritas is involved in this project. And the idea there is to convert this vessel first to LNG, and then a year later, you see at the end of the arrow, the same vessel, the same engine, converted to ammonia. Which means this is an exercise in fuel flexibility when it comes to system design, because we are laying out the tank, the fuel containment, and the fuel supply system to be compatible with both LNG and ammonia, which is a regulatory also challenge as well as an engineering challenge. But we're close to finishing the design now, so we're very confident about this. And then we also have a methanol pilot project that is going to happen at the end of 24. So this will conclude, then we will have released all the 3 fuels in the market, and this will happen first on a 72 bore size engine, all 3 fuels. Then to show an example of how this could work, this combination of efficiency, engine efficiency improvement measures and fuel conversions, you could, on a container ship, you could do a fit for power, but if it's a tanker, you could do any other efficiency improvement measure on the engine, which would give you a step in the right direction, and either combine it at once with a fuel conversion, or let's say win some time to think about which fuel you want to go for, and do the fuel conversion later on, always staying in the compliance zone. And a few words for how the commercial process is changing. We've seen already a lot of advisories from also the DNV, and we need to play this role as well when customers are asking us for solutions on their vessels and engines. So we need to first understand what the customer is trying to achieve, and then help them choose the right solution that fits their budget and decarbonization targets from our portfolio, which is already complex. It's difficult to navigate. But if we go into a direction of a fuel conversion as an option, then we need to do a feasibility study on vessel level and understand all the implications that have to do with such a conversion, which takes also some time. But at the end of the day, the purpose of all that is that when we're discussing a contract signature or an agreement between us to go onto a fuel conversion project, the customer needs to have the let's say necessary information to make an informed decision whether this is a good solution or not for them. And then the more homework we do, of course, in the commercial phase, and the more we understand all the implications and even have, let's say, concepts around the conversion, the smoother is going to be the project phase, because there's a lot of lead time involved in tanks or fuel systems and so on. And that's it from my end. Thank you very much for your attention.